Hi, everybody. Welcome to Vault IGN, your weekly Fallout 4 show. I'm your host, Jared, and I'm joined by, on my right,
Marina Sanchez, hey.
Across the table from her,
Dan Stapleton.
And then to his right, my left,
Alana Pierce.
Alana, welcome.
Thank you.
Alana.
So, Alana, this is your second day of work here at IGN?
Yes, it's my second day. I'm a toys and culture editor, meaning that I'll be writing about toys and also culture.
Wow.
Which is very, very broad.
Yeah, that is very broad.
Yeah.
Culture, that's kind of a
I mean, it's
huge
specifically
umbrella.
geek culture, but,
Okay.
you know.
Opera.
I like it sounding enormous because culture is literally everything. So it's like I write about all things.
Have you written anything at IGN yet?
No, tomorrow is going to be my first article published.
First byline. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hooray.
Thank
I thought you did a story on Amiibo and cut your hand.
I did. I have a scar, permanent scar on my hand from that, actually. But first, toys and culture one.
Gotcha.
You also did the Skylanders review.
Yes.
And we
Great
welcome
game.
all of you who are watching, viewing, at all, etc., however you choose to consume this content. And thank you once again for staying with us here at the Vault. So, starting right off, ladies and gentlemen, you've been playing a lot of Fallout 4. Is Fallout 4 Game of the Year material?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. It's like, yep.
I mean,
All right, done. Move on.
like I don't know if it's a lock for winning. Like there's a bunch of strong contenders this year with The Witcher and Metal Gear and Bloodborne for some people.
Are you one of those people?
And Rocket League. Rocket League.
And Rocket League.
Rocket League. I like Rocket League.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
fun,
everyone
but
likes Rocket
It's
League.
fine.
But
I said it's fun. It's fun, but
Oh, that's very important. If you say it's fine, it's kind of
Yeah.
like when they say
It's like sarcastic.
fun,
and
but
yeah.
fine.
I grew up in the American South when somebody says like, "Isn't that special?" You know, it means something very different. Anyway, go on, Dan.
But then you can play soccer in Fallout if you really want
I mean,
to.
I would be shocked if Rocket League got Game of the Year. I would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Fallout.
it's fine. We all have our own personal Game of the Year, so that's totally cool too.
Oh, I'm ready to cast my Game of the Year vote again for a loser. I don't think I've ever voted for a winning game at IGN.
I think the biggest uphill battle will be that some people just had really buggy experiences with it. I know like Brian Altano had a bad experience with it that just put him off of it. Zach also had a bad time with it.
Common
Justin
thread,
Davis.
PS4.
What's that?
So the common thread, PS4. That's what I've
Justin
heard
Davis
from a
didn't
lot of
like.
people.
No, actually, Brian was on Xbox One.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it played really well for me on Xbox One, but I did see some of the subreddit stuff. A lot of people complaining about the graphics and finding them so bad that they didn't want to play the game. And
Which is kind of a weird.
I find that ridiculous.
Yeah.
To me, I can't even relate to that at all. But there are totally a handful of people who find it so unattractive that it's
Like,
off-putting.
what if?
It's a style thing. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
a high detail game. Like it's very. I think it's well composed in a lot of ways.
And it
But
has so much stuff in it.
yeah, and there's just individual things that are not like taken in isolation.
Yeah.
They're just not that high fidelity.
There's very few games that have ever graphically repulsed me. Even those Duck Dragons at Adventure didn't do it. I mean, those are just like quack whack, and you're supposed to be afraid of it. But it's
Yeah,
still
I
a
can't
good
think of
game.
anything
There's
I haven't
only
liked.
one thing I can think of right now,
What's that?
and it's the protagonist in Undertale.
Oh.
So I love Undertale, but the protagonist's head is just really weird.
It's
It weirds me out.
It's a great game.
I don't
but-
understand.
Weird head, man.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know
it's
what?
one little baby
There's one thing in Fallout 4 that is really ugly, and that's Baby Sean.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that's worse
He's
than
not a looker.
anything.
He's
He's
not a looker.
really hideous.
That's a creepy baby.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm with you there. What about the rest of you guys? Fallout 4 Game of the Year. What do you think?
It's probably my favorite. Like, I still need to get through the rest of Bloodborne. I've only played a little bit of it. And some Metal Gear. I don't know if I really care for Metal Gear, though. Like, personal preference, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's
Haven't
also
made your
really
mind
long.
up yet?
Yeah, but
For me, it's probably second behind The Witcher.
yeah.
No, what's the deciding factor for you, Alana?
There's a lot of stuff that is. I mean, it's really hard, but there's a lot of stuff that's in The Witcher that is also in Fallout that The Witcher just does better. Like, I mean, the world is bigger and looks better. And it's also just that it's kind of more dynamic. Your choices feel like their consequences are a lot more real. And I feel like the crafting is better as well. So it was very hard for me to decide between those two, but it was because I could compare the things that were the same, and I feel like The Witcher did them.
When you play a role-playing game, do you find it easier to inhabit a kind of a blank slate character, like your character, the sole survivor from Vault 111, or do you find it easier to inhabit a character who already has a personality of their own, and you're sort of guiding along those lines? Like, Geralt of Rivia, some things about him are already established. Which do you prefer?
I definitely prefer a character. I'd prefer to experience something with a character because then it feels more like a narrative than just a world that I'm inhabiting. But with Fallout 4 being voiced, I never felt like it was my character for whatever reason. The voice really changed it for me.
Wait, so like we talked about that a lot, and I kind of disagree with everyone. I was like, I like the voice. And I went back and made another character that was like me as like, I'm being this game. And it's like just really bizarre. It's like, that's not what I sound like.
Yeah, it's like it's less relatable when you have a voice, I think. But, you know, I would never do the stuff that anyone does in a Fallout game, so I never feel like it's me anyway.
So all three of us, or all four of us here, I think, agree that Fallout 4 is Game of the Year material. And then all of us have also thought of one or two other games at the very least. We're like, I don't know, though. There's that one. For me, it's Mario Maker, which but that's...
Good luck.
I know. No, again,
it's a great game.
I pick the loser every year. I was Shovel Knight last year.
Shovel Knight's also amazing, though.
Oh, it is. It's a wonderful
really
game. But, okay, so let's move on to the next one. What can other games learn from Fallout 4? What's one lesson that other games in development could learn from what Fallout 4 has done well?
And I've talked about it before, but I think the kind of the way that NPCs interact with one another in the open world is something I would love to see in a lot more games. It's something that separates it, I think, from games like Metal Gear and The Witcher, where like you don't. Like you'll see scripted events as you walk along, like sometimes, and I haven't played that much Witcher yet. It's on my list of things to do this holiday season. But like you'll see scripted events where somebody will be waving you down and say, "Oh, come over here, I was attacked," or something like that. But you don't see wandering bands of soldiers fighting each other or fighting monsters and that are just happening around you, and it doesn't give you the same sense that the world is kind of alive and you're just happening upon events in progress.
Yeah, my answer to that question would have been world building. Full stop. Like just
how so?
The world building in Fallout, just that everything is placed there, even the most insignificant things are all there for you to absorb and to build this world that's totally believable. Even the segment at the start where it's not really part of the game that you're going to play in the long run, but it builds on that culture of that retro futurism and that kind of almost eerily conservativeness of that era, and it does a really good job of just being like, this is what this is, and everything in this world exists to build this world. There's nothing that feels out of place, and I think Fallout does an amazing job of that. Yeah,
I was reflecting on that today. I was playing just a simple fetch quest mission, and as I was going on that, I flashed back to Batman Arkham Origins, and I was thinking about the first time I went into an installation in that, and how 90-degree angle generic the whole place felt. And this was in the Arkham games normally are very rich.
Well, they have the most boring open worlds ever, though, and that you never want to explore them.
Oh,
well,
I never did.
City and Night, I would say I definitely did, but
really?
Origins.
You know
Origins.
how, like, you're walking through The Witcher or walking through Fallout, you just walk around and things are pleasant. Whereas in Arkham Knight, Arkham City, and Arkham Origins, I did explore in Asylum. There was nothing that I ever just wandered across and was like, cool, because it's always just people trying to fight me on the street.
Well, there are a bunch of like Easter eggy things you can find.
Yeah, I mean, there's collectibles and there's Easter eggs, but the world, I feel like, just doesn't have that culture.
That's interesting. I really like the feel of the outdoors of Arkham. It's the insides actually that a lot of times felt less well inhabited to me.
I think with Arkham, with City and Origins and Night, the difference is it's a world that's kind of designed to be passed over. Like you're supposed to kind of fly.
It's definitely
above.
nice when you're flying.
Right. But whereas all the others are designed to be interacted with, you're walking through them.
And that's what struck me about this. I was playing this kind of throwaway level, and there was just so much detail to what was. It didn't look like any other place, any other of 100 other places I'd been. It's like, wow, somebody spent a lot of time building this little warren that you're just going to go into, grab something at the bottom of, and pull out.
Or you might never see.
Yeah, or you might never see, exactly.
And people always ask for, or not always, but some people would really love to see vehicles in Fallout. And that's something that
would ruin the exploration.
It's really not going to happen because and I've talked to Todd Howard about this years ago when I was asking him about Fallout 3. It's like, are we going to see vehicles in this? And his response was no, because they've put a lot of time and effort into designing this really dense world. So why would they want you to just skip by it and zipping from point A to point B? And that's why they don't let you fast travel to a new location. They want you to make that trip and see everything that they've done along the way.
That just kills like part of the essence of Fallout too. I mean, it's exploration, discovery.
Yeah.
Like I think about like Mad Max, which of course is all vehicles and open world, and there's not a lot to like. Each little location isn't like super deep or anything, but it's not supposed to be because you're gonna be driving past it. Like, why would they put so much effort into a place if you're just
Fallout's like been built the opposite way? And
so it's meant to be done in that.
Fallout alongside games, again, I think the Souls games do this well. Handles exploration and discovery as a dramatic event better than
it's the reason that I play Fallout, really, or the reason that I love Fallout is because of the stuff that I will find in the stories that I will will come across that I never even would have expected to be there. And I mean, compared to the actual narrative, which I think is still better than Fallout 3's, it doesn't matter when it's up against the exploration and that world building, and it's just so engrossing.
All the environmental storytelling they do is spectacular.
So good.
Just like you'll walk by and you'll see like two skeletons in a bed, and kind of think about it a little bit, and then you'll read a terminal nearby that tells the story of that, and then you go back and look at it again, and it's like, oh, that has much more context.
Yeah, then you find all these little details around them too that just help create that story, and it's like, oh, well, I'm gonna take these little details and make some guns.
Thank you for that.
So those are things we'd like to see from Fallout 4 in other games. Moving on. Dogmeat. Man's best friend. The appearance of Dogmeat in the previews was a really big deal. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Before we knew what this game was going to be, when Dogmeat made an appearance, people were happy and cheering.
Just
and
want dogs. Everywhere
Always.
dogs.
Dogs in games.
Invincible dogs.
Invincible dogs. And that was a great change. But now that we've been playing the game for a while, my question, guys, is Dog your co-pilot? Now that we have Dogmeat, along with the other 12 available companions beyond him, is Dogmeat actually that big a deal?
So my goal was like the first thing was like I gotta find Dogmeat, and that's what I said, and I did it because it's like the first thing you do. But no, because as I've said before, he's like really whiny. Like he just constantly wants, is there something wrong? Did you find something? Like what's happening? And it's just because like you can't really interact with him the same way you can with the other companions.
Okay.
And then I found Curie, and I'm just like, everyone else is dumb. Go
Now,
away.
you have been talking about Curie for days. Why do you love Curie so much?
She provides a different sort of life to the world that you don't see in a lot of people, because she, like, I don't want to give too much away about her or what she is. She just has a unique outlook on the world that you cannot find in other places. And she's very intelligent. She's very curious. She has an amazing accent.
Curious.
Yeah.
Curious.
Have either of you guys traveled with Curie?
No.
So I'm with Miranda on this, and again, without spoiling anything, you have more in common with Curie than any other companion.
Yeah.
You guys, which
I haven't
is
met her.
Yeah, it's especially when you find Curie. First off, it's an unexpected meeting.
She's also kind of easy to miss. Like if you don't really look into this, if you don't think about the lore of Fallout and like what certain places mean and what they always have.
Yeah. She's very easy to miss. But if you do find her, like, oh, this is somebody who understands my situation exactly.
I met her, and I was just like, please be a companion, please be a companion. And I was like, yes.
Yeah. And when I first met her, I was kind of like, she's all right. And then when you start traveling with her, it's just like, she's fantastic. So great. But back to the dog. What about you guys?
I didn't use him that much. Like I think when I saw the first the first reveal trailers and everything, I was kind of worried that he would be a permanent part, like he would be there all the time and be a second companion.
That would be kind of cool.
I mean, yes and no. Like it would be treating him as an extension of your player character would be kind of interesting, but
just be a tool.
I didn't really want him to be there all the time, because some things I like about Fallout are very solitary.
Definitely.
So I like the ability to leave companions behind. So I did.
That's so mean.
Well,
I leave all my companions behind.
There's one companion that I'm just like, get out of here. Can I kill you? Like, just go away.
Who is it? Who is it? Just by name. Don't say one. But
Dance.
It's Dance. Oh, okay.
Just get
And that's
I can't
first
even.
time I've had to
I
bleep
whispered.
the show.
You may not even have to bleep it.
All right.
It's really quiet.
It was super quiet.
It's super quiet.
super
Probably
quiet.
didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
We'll find out. I'm gonna sit
I'm really
and listen.
angry, guys.
Listen very carefully.
So I didn't use Dogmeat that much, and I've played all the other Fallout games, and I have used those Dogmeat versions extensively. Trying to keep them alive is kind of a pain. I preferred traveling with a bipedal companion.
Okay, I wonder about
I'm
that.
pretty much the same. I thought that Dogmeat, when it was announced, I was super excited about it as well, because I love dogs and I like Fallout companions. Dogmeat's the perfect combination of those two things. But I feel like Dogmeat's just it lacks the personality that the other companions have. So it's just, I don't know, it doesn't add that much aside
I will
from
say-
a fetch.
Yeah.
I will say that the mechanics that he does, he has unique abilities that no one else
Incredibly
has.
useful.
And he doesn't have his own perk.
Right,
So, I mean,
so-
that's cool.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
the thing, is like I found him more of a useful thing than a companion. He didn't
So-
feel attached to him as much.
Does he have his own quest?
I haven't encountered that. I haven't
think
gotten far
so.
enough
Because
with
you
him to find
have,
out.
levels within like relationship levels, and it's like you can't really check that with the dog.
Yeah.
How am I doing, buddy? You know, you can't quite do that the same
I mean,
way.
I
right?
totally patted him like all the time, almost whenever I could. Be like, need a pat? Yeah, you do.
But you don't want to take away from him, though. I think this might speak more to the strength of the writing around several of the companions than it does for any particular weakness to Dogmeat. I mean,
that is true. It's just that others are favorable.
Yeah, they're mostly likable people. Again, I agree. Dance sucks. I'm not crazy.
Get out of here.
Now, Dance was your companion for a while. Right? No, who was that?
I actually still have not. I don't know who Dance is.
Oh, okay. So you haven't fooled with Dance.
I haven't either. I haven't met Kelly.
Yep.
Kelly?
Who's that?
The other
Curie.
one? Curie.
Oh, Curie. Yeah, I haven't met Curie.
Yeah, Curie's
Or Dance.
You have to do.
We'll talk about Curie after the show. We're trying to keep it still on the safe spoiler side, but we will eventually have. Well, we'll get to that actually. So, moving on to the next little bit here. Yeah, let's talk about mods of the week. It's early on, guys, and we're just getting that first little dipping of the toe into Modland. But people are already changing Fallout in amazing ways. And as Vault goes on, I think we're going to talk more and more and more about how the game's being changed by the community. Miranda's doing the pumped up thing.
Happy.
What is it?
Deathclaw Companion.
Okay, tell us about Deathclaw
That was
Companion.
my wish. That was my mod wish. That's all I want. Simple. I just want a Deathclaw. We're going to be buds.
Okay.
Give him a whole name.
And has that happened yet?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
on.
So have you played with it yet?
No, I'm playing on the Xbox right now.
Oh, okay. So
but
that's
it will happen.
That'll be fantastic. So you can have a Deathclaw companion.
Yeah.
Does it have all the powers and abilities of a Deathclaw?
I don't know. Probably.
Okay.
I hope so.
And immune like other companions, I assume.
Seems pretty OP.
Yeah,
fine.
I'm okay with that.
It's
Yeah.
totally fine. But
Yeah.
I'm like the queen of the wasteland.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes with companions, like I get annoyed if they kill everything. I'm like, I really wanted to shoot that.
Right. It also
just did it all.
you lose out of experience if they do that.
Yeah.
So like that happened with me and a boss, and Curie killed the person. I was like, good job, Curie, but I needed that
Yeah.
experience.
Used to get it all the time with Forks. Forks would just kill everything in Fallout 3. And I'm like, come on, man. Sometimes I want to shoot stuff.
I am good with that, and I usually travel alone or with Dogmeat when I want less impact from a companion.
Yeah.
But I do like. There's an idea that it'd be kind of fun to play Fallout 4 like a Diablo 2 druid, and just have legions of things that you point and send after somebody and watch them tear it apart.
And is there a mod yet for unlimited companions? Because they have that in 3 in New Vegas.
If it exists,
Really?
I haven't touched it yet. Most of the stuff I've looked at so far has been very primitive cosmetic. You know, of course, we've got the Deathclaw thing. We've got the. Have you guys looked at the John Cena gun? I mean, that was one of the very first mods, and so dumb.
Like that's what someone chose to put their time into.
I just
all things.
Apparently they chose wisely. They
it's
ruled the
incredibly
internet for a
popular.
day,
Yeah.
and did more than I could. I couldn't make a John Cena mod if I tried. But the
True.
one I love best is the. Oh, go ahead.
I'm not really a wrestling fan, so it was kind of lost on me, and it really paled in comparison to the Macho Man Dragon mod in Skyrim.
That was amazing.
I'm not a wrestling fan, and even I can appreciate that.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Have you ever seen this?
Yeah.
Helena?
Yeah.
I've only seen it on
Hideous
YouTube.
and delightful.
Yeah. And then, of course, the newest little cosmetic one to pop up that surfaced here, our buddy Jake James, who's one of our freelancers, wrote to us, OMG Buzz Lightyear Power Armor Total Epic Win. And yes.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it just turns power armor. So the picture he sent me was Dance, Paladin Dance, in a suit of
guy.
Buzz Lightyear armor.
That's awesome.
And it looks great.
He doesn't deserve it, though.
No, he doesn't. But being able to travel around as a space ranger now, I kind of have all I need: just a laser musket.
So then they just need to get a mod to actually turn him into Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, and then you're
So
there
everything he
for-
says
Change
is
his
Buzz
personality.
Lightyear, change his
Yeah.
entire personality, and then he's great.
What's the best Buzz Lightyear quote?
To infinity and beyond.
Yeah,
the only one I
the easy
know.
one.
Is that the best? I like.
There's some good ones in the new
mocking
one.
me, aren't you?
Oh, that
I like
one's
a
really
lot.
good.
Yeah.
The when he turns Spanish.
Oh yeah. It's great.
That was good.
I love
Good
I love-
Buzz Lightyear moment.
Okay.
Okay.
So earlier I said I didn't know who Dance was, but now you said Paladin Dance. Okay, I know who that is.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what we're
I
talking
I left out
about.
the paladin part because I
Yeah.
didn't want to be like spoilery on what kind of companions they are.
I'm sorry, everybody.
But
I feel like it's
Well,
not really a
he's
spoiler.
he's early on.
Yeah, it's not
he's very
super
early
I
on.
don't know if
Yeah.
I remember.
I just
who
didn't
it
realize
is.
he
I
was a
just want to
companion.
be, yeah.
Yeah, you can companion him.
I kind of avoided Brotherhood stuff.
Yep. Wisdom.
Yeah, good idea.
That's a whole other can of worms. We're not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole for a while yet, guys. Moving on, this was a suggestion. By the way, guys, Brennan will be back, and this was one of Brennan's suggestions. He wanted us to talk for a little bit about how Fallout 4 approaches morality. There's a lot of changes here from the karmic systems of yore. Fallout 4 was a completely different, and I think kind of a more morally relativistic perspective where it's tied up in what, there's no like binary choice to make here.
Well, there is when further on in the story.
Oh, would you call it binary?
It's between what factions you choose.
Well, I mean, but there's 4 factions at that point.
Right, but what you have to choose in the end, like how you want to handle the conflict.
Yeah.
There's an A or B choice there.
Okay.
But there are other choices around it.
There are a few.
Yeah, I felt like it was a little less. This is obviously good, and this is obviously
definitely
evil.
less like that, but I still think it has some of that.
Yeah,
a little bit. Like there's always that one option where you're being a butt, and then the other's like, oh, I'm just.
I'm
going to
say the dick thing.
I feel less that way about this one in terms of the main story. Maybe I'm giving
it's definitely better than Fallout 3 was.
Yeah, and Fallout 3 just had are you going to kill all the mutants for no reason or not?
Yeah, exactly. This is
give
far
them free
more
water.
What you have
but it
here.
was also that saving them was hard. Mm-hmm. It was also really hard to do.
It was the difficult
fun.
quest. Yeah, the harder way to go at it. I agree.
Yeah.
Do you think that the harder is the harder path always going to be the nobler one? Storytelling.
I mean, it seems like a lot of
real
times
deep
it is.
now.
Not really.
Do we really want to talk
Well,
about
I'm thinking
that?
like if you choose the quick and easy path as Vader did, forever will it dominate your destiny. But Dan, you're saying not really.
I mean, in RPGs, not necessarily. I mean, the thing. You take Knights of the Old Republic, for example. Like it just kind of changed which enemies you fought in the end.
That's
But like
true.
you look at Dishonored, and that like absolutely is the harder way to go because you have to do everything super stealth and like least stealth as possible. Where it's way easier just to go in and like guns blazing, like everyone's dead.
Yeah.
And then there's games like Until Dawn where you can't really predict what the nobler path will do. Like, that was it. I chose to help someone in Until Dawn once, and that immediately led to my death.
So what kind of karmic systems do you prefer? Do you prefer something where you've got a scale and it's keeping track of how good or how evil you are? Do you like something like what Fallout has where you're checking in with your companions about each relationship and then checking in with your faction?
Does a good job of it, actually.
Okay.
Fallout 4 is a nice
that?
balance. Well, in that, I mean, there are some things that are really black and white and some choices that you make that are like, this is obviously good and this is obviously bad, but a lot of it, I think, is grey. And I like that. I like pondering.
But there's no mechanical thing in the game that actually keeps track of whether you're good or evil.
Yeah.
Which I do kind of miss. Like the original Fallout 1 and 2 and 3 had karma.
Right.
Which was a universal thing where like if you do a bunch of bad actions, then people will treat you differently based on, hey, I heard you're a jerk. Although it doesn't really like the thing that always bothered me about it is like, well, how did you know what I did? All those things I did on the other side of the map. It's like, I wiped out that town on the other side of the map. How did you know about that?
You're
right.
A big guy.
So, and I like if they actually heard that, if there was dialogue saying, oh yeah, we heard that from such and such,
Yeah,
that would be
they
great.
actually do hear some of it on the radio.
Possibly, yeah.
So
but in New Vegas, they have a faction system, which I actually prefer because it lets you. It makes more sense that like, if I'm treating this faction well and this one poorly, it's like, okay, that makes sense, and it lets you kind of build favor and or not as you see fit. And I think karma is black and white.
Yeah.
Even if there's some suspension of disbelief, I like how Fallout 4 lets you go way into the story before making a final factional decision and experiment with everything. I appreciated that. I think it's more video game logic than real world logic sometimes, but I was grateful they chose to err on the side of video game logic in this one.
Yeah.
I still want people to hate me though.
Yeah.
Like I want people to get mad at me for doing wrong things, and I don't feel like that's like a really big deal anymore. Except for like some companions, I hate like certain things, but I mean you don't want you'll of course find the ways to make the companions like you to get their perks and stuff. But like people of the world, it's like, hey, recognize what I'm doing, kind of thing. I feel like it misses that a little bit, at least for where I'm at.
I think it can make
quite a few.
Even that in itself is a consequence of what you've done. It can make your decisions more weighty. You know, if you do something bad or evil and then somebody calls you out on it, it's like, that's a thing that I actually did that happened and is reflected in this world. Whereas it is sometimes kind of ignored.
Right.
Yeah, the more consequence that arises from an action, the more weight that action has in your mind.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, logic is sound.
So Almond McLean asks, I'm loving the Dweller campfire banter. So more war stories, please. Okay, Almond, thank you very much for asking for them. Main story or side stories, guys? Where have your best tales come from over the last few weeks? What are you enjoying the most?
I mean, side stories by far for me. Although my biggest war story these days is trying to find time to play more Fallout.
Well, you have a very special reason for that.
Well, I was busy with Just Cause, and
I thought it was your recently born child.
well, that too.
It was Just Cause.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I've only got so much gaming time to go around.
Yeah.
But and I had to worry about Just Cause in the meantime. Okay. So I haven't had much time to form new war stories yet. But my most memorable moments from Fallout 4 are definitely side mission stuff.
Yeah.
The things I just stumble across and enjoyed exploring.
I'm just like, wow, I'm really, really happy I came upon that. What about you guys?
Yeah, my answer is exactly the same, as well as not being able to play as much as I would like because I just moved continents. So that's my excuse for that. But yeah, definitely, it's always about the side quests. I think even just the exploration, like getting between the side quests.
Man, you guys with your babies and your transoceanic
Excuses,
travel and all the rest of that. I'll
excuses.
tell you what, you're fairly early on still, Alana, right? You're about 20 hours in, you said? Okay, so I think that's probably on the safe side. We stay above the Nick line so far, which is the Nick Valentine line. Anything before that's really jumped out at you?
I mean, I feel like I could talk about this forever if I kind of think
That's
of an
okay.
example
Go
here.
for it.
But I mean, the stuff that I love the most is just specifically things that are really hard, like stumbling into a town or even just like a small little settlement and having something that I haven't seen before kill me. And that moment of sheer terror when I haven't looted enough and I don't have enough stim packs and I accidentally get myself addicted to drugs. I think that's happened to me twice in Fallout 4 where I've like become addicted to a bunch of stuff because I've been like, I'm so close to dying right now and I really don't want to die. So it's just, and I think Fallout 4 is actually probably the hardest, or it's definitely harder than 3 and I think New Vegas as well. And that in itself just creates such intensity. So it's even, I mean, some of the side quests are really hard as well.
Yeah.
But even just exploring and getting to them. That's it. Nearly dying is my favorite thing in Fallout.
They were not too cautious with the difficulty curve. It reminded me more of Fallout 1 and 2 in that regard.
Yeah,
I think 2 was really hard, but
it's they even say this on loading screens and stuff where it's like the further south and west you go, east, south and east you go, the harder it gets. So it's kind of radial.
Yeah, that's kind of a good thing. But I mean, I feel like it's still pretty hard everywhere.
Yeah, and you're able to kind of moderate the difficulty depending on where you go, at what level you are.
Yeah.
So if you're adventurous, then you get into a lot of trouble.
Yeah,
and
which
it's
I
so
totally
much,
am.
Yeah. It's so much fun being adventurous. I mean, one of my
and to get into trouble.
A non-spoilery thing here, but one of my favorite moments in the game was just plunging ahead out of curiosity.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be a lot over here. Whoa, that's really, really big, way bigger than any bad guy I've seen in the last 10 hours. You're so big. I'm dead.
It's greater risk and greater reward.
Yeah, and I like that. That's it. But then maybe you find something great if you somehow manage it. That's why I like Fallout's kind of complicated systems and the fact that it's sort of buggy and horrible mess occasionally is that you can game the system occasionally, and if you can just
I'm so fine with the bugs in Fallout 4.
I am until they break the game.
True.
Not all bugs
I haven't
are
had bad ones.
Not all
Mine's
bugs
always
are
just been
created equal.
Dogmeat stuff stuck on things. Like it's just been Dogmeat just stuck everywhere all the time.
Floating Brahmin, the best
classic,
one.
Yeah,
floating Brahmin, floating bears. Those are pretty great. I was in a cutscene recently where I woke somebody up from a mattress, and then 2 other people came and stood next to them, and his body just started elevating and switching from side to side between the 3 of them.
That just sounds terrifying.
It was frightening. Yeah, Miranda,
I
what
think
about you?
exploring, like not even just the quests, just walking around, figuring things out. I love going to. Well, it happened a while ago because now we're too good to be challenged too much. I would just like explore a place and it'd be like way too difficult. And then you go back a few levels later and you just wreck the entire place.
Yeah.
It's like,
that
hey
does feel
guys,
good.
I'm back.
I leveled up.
Yep.
That's an old timey Fallout experience. Like
Yeah.
like every so often I would just backtrack and go back to like the Khan's Raider camp and just wipe them out.
I also just love exploring.
Even Wasteland
things.
had that kind of stuff. Like the first Wasteland did that as well.
Yeah.
Where you just level up and then destroy everyone.
Are you a Wasteland player?
I love Wasteland too.
Oh,
I think that was my game of year.
Can we be best friends?
Yes.
All right. Good. Excellent. What were you saying, Miranda?
I like quick saving and blowing things up.
Oh, just to see what happens.
Yes, it's like
You're gonna love Just Cause 2.
yeah. So I like saving the mines and stuff that you find and disarming them. It's good for the experience. Also, just good for your stores and stuff. But sometimes I'm just like, this is a new one, a new good mine.
really wanna blow
let
that
me see what that looks like. It's just kind of fun.
And it's nice to let you do that. They make it so easy that
Yeah.
the save system is laid
I've
out
actually
for that.
always loved the save system in Fallout, and back in Fallout 3, I was trying to manipulate the achievements by reloading to certain points, as we were talking about neutral and negative and positive, I don't remember, good and bad, I think they are. I would just reload to back when I was a certain level and then do a bunch of evil stuff and do a bunch of really good stuff because I tend to play neutral. So I just reload to a save, like pickpocket and murder people and then get the achievement and go back. But I feel like Fallout is one of the only franchises I can think of that lets you have like so many saves so you can redo so many things all over the place. And I love that about it, that freedom.
I do lament the death of the quick save. Like in most games, I really hate when a game only gives you one save slot.
Oh
like,
that's the worst. Like this, I can't work with this. Like, please, just give me more.
And in our line of work in particular, it's a real pain in the butt because
you know how much, you know how bad it is for wikis.
Yeah.
Like autosave is the bane of my existence. Like I hate you.
Or capturing video of that specific thing you want. But that doesn't matter to most people. What matters to most people is like. Fallout's, frankly, buggy state kind of necessitates this, that they have a bunch of those save points that you can restore from if something goes wrong.
That actually could be why. That's a Bethesda thing to do.
Absolutely.
But to go back to Until Dawn, I just finished playing Until Dawn, so I keep talking about it, but it's another game that doesn't let you have any save files, but it totally benefits from it. If you had save files in that, you could redo everything, and it wouldn't have the same intensity or weight to any of the decisions you make. Whereas in Fallout, it's fun. Being able to change decisions and blow up a mine if you want to.
Also, it makes more sense just because things are dangerous and you can stumble into an area that you're not ready for, and they want to let you save beforehand.
And they give you the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
And that's
because there's definitely stuff that you can get stuck in and you can't get out of if it's too hard, and you would just be screwed if you didn't have previous save files.
This game reminds me in some ways. Again, I keep making Souls comparisons, but it keeps really the one I keep going back to now that they've fixed the gunplay to the point that it feels intuitive. It's like playing an old Legend of Zelda game. It's just I'm free to go almost anywhere I want and try almost anything I want. And there are places that are blocked off, but not many. And I can just go and try things, and man, it's fun. And
I think we're all in agreement that the exploration in Fallout is amazing.
We said that like 6 times. Right?
And keep talking about it.
By the way, faithful listeners, faithful viewers, faithful readers, faithful telepaths listening in on our conversation, however you're doing this, we are going to move towards some more specifics in these war stories soon. We're catching up here, so I think by the next time we get together and share some, we're going to remove some, not all, but some of the spoilery barriers. Don't worry, we'll let you know what we're going to do before we do it.
It hasn't even been out for a month yet, has it?
Yeah, we don't want to crush him on this yet. This is the 5th episode of Vault, so about a month now. Thanksgiving just passed in the United States. Alana, do you have a Thanksgiving-style holiday in Australia?
Nope. I have no idea what Thanksgiving is.
Okay, so Thanksgiving...
You're arriving on Thanksgiving. Are you going to do anything for it? I'm like, should I?
You just eat the biggest bird you can find.
Yeah.
See, we just do that for Christmas.
No.
Do you do that again at Christmas?
Yeah, we do that again at Christmas.
Okay.
In 1864, at the very end of the American Civil War, when it was clear that the Union was in fact going to win the thing, Abraham Lincoln proclaimed a national day of Thanksgiving. And now every year we get together and eat a lot and watch football and sleep.
It's like a thing about turkey, isn't it?
Yeah, turkey is the traditional Thanksgiving food because it's a native North American bird, and it's big, so you can feed a host of human beings with it.
So it is really just an eating holiday.
It is. It's an
you don't
eating.
buy presents or anything.
No presents.
I have no idea what it is.
No, it's
drink a lot.
It's dedicated to.
At least I do.
You hang out with friends and family, eat a lot.
And then people
depending on
murder
your
each other over
religious
sales the
inclination, be thankful for what you got there in some way or another, and then the next day everyone goes out and does horrible shopping things.
Yeah, see that would totally just be our Christmas, but we don't. Oh no, we do have Boxing Day sales in Australia actually.
Oh, we don't get Boxing Day.
We have Boxing Day
that.
sales.
Oh,
really?
No, there's no Boxing Day in America.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have Thanksgiving. You have 2 Christmases.
Right, we have 2 Christmases.
I think you can settle without Boxing Day.
That's true. We do. We
and
do
Cyber
have
Monday,
that.
we don't have that either.
I mean, Cyber Monday's still not that
It's
good
all
yet.
crazy.
It's like,
well, now you're here. Welcome to the land of consumerism. Welcome to commerce. Well, anyway, that Thanksgiving thing happened. So, in honor of Thanksgiving, what are you thankful for in Fallout, my friends? This is easily the dopiest question of the episode.
Cats and Curie.
Cats and the white cats.
There's cats.
There are cats.
There are
Just
cats.
find them. I have a settlement that has a cat, and it just makes me so happy.
Did you go on the mission where you have to go find a kitten?
Yes, I did.
You did? Did you
I
find
was
the
really
kitten?
happy. I like booked it. I was like, we gotta find this cat. I cannot die.
Everything else stops now.
Yeah.
My son doesn't matter. Just this cat.
Just this cat. Gotta rescue the little girl's kitten. It's I was just like, are you really sending me to rescue a little girl's kitten, Fala? And yes.
so happy.
Yes, yeah.
That's sad.
By the way, if you are asked to go find that kitten,
Do it.
find the kitten. Do it.
Do it.
Who wouldn't
It's very
do that?
important.
What person would be like, nah?
Some people hate cats.
And yeah, some people hate
sure.
cats. Some people are like, this is a dumb mission. Go find that cat.
Marty's
it's
allergic
worth
to
it.
cats.
What's
I'm
that?
allergic.
Marty is allergic.
I'm
Marty's-
allergic to cats, but I still find the cat.
No, Marty is allergic to cats.
So I'm
I
allergic
get
to
them.
everything,
Oh,
though.
are you badly allergic?
Yeah, fairly. Yeah.
All right,
I mean,
so-
I can have a cat touch me, but if it gets anywhere near my face, it's a bad time.
So now we know how.
How to disable me?
Yeah, exactly. This is helpful. Just
throw a cat at my
I'm
face.
very weak at physical combat, so I've got to
Okay, so
tuck these
throw a
things
cat
away.
at me.
All right.
So much for
And
best
then fight
friends.
me.
Excellent. Oh man,
So how good is Wasteland?
Dan, what about you? What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful I haven't hit any major bugs.
Yeah.
Like it could be a pretty bad time from losing save progress or something like that. I know of people who've had corrupted saves, which would be a
Terrible.
major bummer.
Yeah, I was gonna say you seem more familiar with a lot of the big bugs than I am. What are some of them? Some of the worst ones.
Yeah, I mean,
Mine have all just been glitches.
there's one where you get your vision permanently blurred.
What?
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Yeah, so that's no good.
So even if you reload a save.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's one where you can get locked into an animation where you're kind of, for lack of a better term, humping a terminal, and just cannot escape from the animation. You get
can't-
locked down into that.
You
You can load a
can't-
save
yeah.
earlier, but if you've been sloppy with your quick saves, you lose an
Forever
hour of
humping.
play.
Guys,
Yeah.
save your
So-
game. Save
yeah.
it a
Yeah.
bunch.
Yeah.
So I mean, here's the thing: like with a game like this, it's super complicated. A bunch of different things that like it's virtually impossible to test every permutation of things you can do in what order. So it's like, yeah, there are going to be bugs. Also, there are more than 10 million people playing this game.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a bunch of horror stories where a bunch of people
it's
are
like
going
the
to.
Assassin's Creed Unity story where
Yeah. If
people didn't have faces, but it wasn't actually that many people. It's just the disaster went viral.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, you've got 10 million people playing a game. If 0.1% of those people hit a horrible bug, like that's a lot of
That's still a
people
lot of people.
that are having a terrible time, and they're going to be real mad about it and tell everybody they can about it.
Yeah.
And
Thanks,
rightfully
Internet.
so. Rightfully so. They
Oh
should.
yeah, you
Yeah,
should have
yeah.
a right to
It's a bad-
complain
it's a
when
bad product.
you pay money for something and it doesn't work. You have a right to be mad about it.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
that's-
then there's this.
But if you draw that short straw, it's like the problem is like people infer from that, like they see these very visible bugs that people are very mad about, and they think, oh, it's broken for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah.
It's buggier than everyone would like, I think, but it's not horribly broken.
I do find it a weird thing where Bethesda seems to have escaped the glitch criticism. Like, there's always bugs in
think they've
Bethesda
escaped
games.
it.
Oh, no,
at
I
all.
don't think so at all.
Well, people don't seem to care that Dogmeat gets stuck in walls
I mean,
all the time.
I think people do, but it's just not the same criticism you'd see with Unity because I think there's a difference with the brands. Like, it's
Okay,
just that.
actually, talking about like Assassin's Creed, if someone gets stuck inside something, I still find it funny, and I don't really complain.
Yeah, like
about
I mean,
but-
it just varies from person to person, like
yeah,
what
I feel
you
like
care
it's just
about.
Bethesda doesn't. People aren't as aggressive when a Bethesda game has like a graphical glitch.
A lot of people are.
Yeah, I'm sure. I probably just avoid
yeah.
those kinds of people.
Yeah, Dan as the reviewer was
Yeah.
subject to a lot of conversation about this.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I mean, again, like you said, it depends on what that person cares about.
Yeah.
If you're really looking for a very polished experience where everything happens the way you expect it to, then
Good luck.
Well, yeah, then like things are
for the
not
most
always
part,
things
it's
are not
fine.
always going to go smoothly in Fallout.
Yeah.
But like for me, like if I see something out of whack sometimes, or like a physics glitch where somebody goes flying across the horizon. That's like,
totally
well,
fine.
that was
Yeah,
kind,
totally
that's
fine,
kind of
funny.
hilarious.
Yeah.
So as long as it doesn't prevent me from progressing, then I'm still enjoying myself for the most part, and as long as it's not
Yeah.
constant and
Distracting.
Yeah.
I swear it's just old DNA for me from being a PC guy for so long and just being used to games not working for like 20 years of DOS. And I'm just like, oh, happy nostalgic feeling. It's broken. I don't know. Alana, you
You
don't
look
have.
at it fondly.
Yeah, that's it. Alana, you don't have Australian or don't have Thanksgiving in Australia, but do you have anything to be thankful for in Fallout?
I'm actually going to say, in direct relation to the fact that I moved here like a few days ago. I am going to say Dogmeat because I had to leave my 1-year-old Labrador.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
and,
young.
oh, dude, she's so young and she's so beautiful and it's so sad. So I had to leave her behind because the whole getting a dog and having them in quarantine for 3 months is just incredibly cruel.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 months and you're not allowed to see them the whole time.
That's ridiculous.
I know, it's awful. It's so awful. So that's why I didn't bring her over.
You should just pull a Johnny Depp and smuggle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He nearly got kicked out of the country. But,
Yeah.
So I've actually found comfort in Dogmeat in that way, that it's like having a dog back because, FaceTiming an animal just isn't quite the same.
Oh, Lana,
Yeah.
that's the saddest thing.
Did you see that somebody reskinned Dogmeat to look like their own dog?
Oh, I should do that. No, I'll just start crying. I'll just weep while I'm patting this dog.
What's your dog's name?
Chelsea.
Oh,
But we call her
Chelsea.
Chell, which I'm very happy about because my family has now unintentionally made a Portal reference that they've all just gone
that's
with.
marvelous.
And yeah, her name's Chell.
That's great.
Yeah.
Does your current place allow dogs?
Yeah, so I live with Max.
Oh,
So have you met Peppers?
yeah.
Yeah, so I
Oh,
live with
yeah.
Peppers Scoville,
Okay.
little Pomeranian.
Pepper's great.
Yeah, Peppers is lovely, but I still way prefer big dogs because it's so much more cuddly. So I'm trying to see if we can maybe get a big dog there,
Okay.
but we'll see how that goes.
At this point, Max could open a hotel, I think. That's,
He may
that's
as well. There's a
amazing.
lot of
Yeah,
people living in his
that's amazing.
basement and a bunch of animals, and yeah.
And Jared, how about you? What are you thankful for?
In
Yeah.
Fallout, I'm thankful for a game that I can play / write about / make videos about for, at this point, probably a couple of 100 hours, and I'm still not tired of it.
Yeah.
That's very rare.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that there's just a big, giant, interesting world to explore.
I'm so
Jared,
sick
Back
of
on the
Okay.
exploration.
Yeah,
How
back
good
to
is
that.
it though?
Are you a guy that restarts Fallout every so often, or do you create one character and stick with it?
For the purposes of this project, I'm sticking with one character now. I actually created two because I started on PS4 and switched to PC. But when this is all done, I will make a new character and start over.
I have issues with that, and then I get too attached to the narrative, like the narrative that I've led and the side quests that I've done and the story that I told with that one character, that going to another character feels like I'm betraying them. It's like I'm cheating on them, and I'm just like, no. I have this history with this person, and I don't want to do it with someone else. And I just can't ever bring myself to start like a Fallout game over unless it was exactly the same character.
I'm excited
Even-
for like a new play style, but it's also just weird. It's like you're not
Yeah,
Felicia.
it just
Who
doesn't
is
feel
this?
right.
Yeah.
Even years later, does it still feel weird?
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
wonder about
I
that.
often will revisit my Fallout 3 save file. Like I intentionally left some of those side quests and didn't finish them. So every now and then I will go back and play some of it so that I'm still having that journey forever with that character. Like one of my favorite games is Banjo-Tooie, and I refuse to finish it. One
Down-
TV left, not doing it.
We've gone
for me,
from
though.
best friends to, I don't know, now it's Banjo-Tooie and
You don't like
Fallout 2. It's like-
Banjo-Tooie?
For me,
Wasteland means nothing.
For me, I like to restart games like RPGs in particular. Like after I finish the main quest, I don't have a huge interest in.
How do you have
continuing.
time to do that?
I don't always.
That, like, oh man.
But I don't have a huge interest in continuing to play after I've beaten the main quest.
Right.
Because I want to go back and experience things a different way. See what would happen if I had done things differently. Gone left when I went right the first time.
Yeah.
See it from a female perspective instead of the male perspective.
See, that's when I reload my saves.
right. But
I just can't restart the whole thing.
I don't want to be godlike powerful in these games.
True. Yeah.
I want it
That's
to be
definitely a problem.
I want it to be an uphill battle. I want to, have different tools to work through the same problems with, but I don't want to have all the tools.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that.
Well, you run into this, especially with the old ones. I mean, Fallout 1 is practically race to the power armor, and once you know what you're doing. And
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
you
never
can, you
played
can
Fallout
speed run
1,
those games
but I
once
did
you
play
once you
2.
know what's going on.
yeah, it's so that definitely does present a problem of being overpowered. Also, in the old games, though, your character distinct builds matter more. Like
Yeah.
you play very
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah.
But
depending
like
on where you
in
put your
the old
skills.
games, like I think, and in this game too, like trying to find shortcuts to get more powerful more quickly, and so that you you skip ahead, is a fun thing to do. Mm-hmm. Like
It
it's,
is.
Yeah.
Provides a challenge. And
Yeah, it's just a lot of things have been left there for us to find, and finding those is interesting.
Yeah, but
That's right.
there's some of the weapons, like after I got the big boy, I had to save up to get that. And then after I got it, I didn't use it that much because it was so powerful that I was like, you know what, I don't actually want to blow you to smithereens. It's just like every now and
Yeah.
then I'll pull it out. And I haven't got the alien blaster yet.
Oh, okay.
But is that another one that's extremely powerful in this one?
The nice one with that is the ammo's so limited that there's very little you can do with it. But it is there, and it's good
I like that about it in Fallout 3 as well when it was limited, because then every time that you shoot something with it, it's another one of those moments of desperation where I'm addicted to all of the drugs in the game. And I got my alien blaster, and I've used all my stealth boys, and I'm just like, oh, alien blaster time.
No, I liked how they handled the alien blaster in this one. I won't spoil that yet.
No, I definitely want to go on a quest to
I
find
still
that.
haven't found it, but I overheard in the office where it is. And I was like, oh.
Oh, no. I'm glad I didn't hear that.
So, moving on to the next one. Fallout 4, it's funny, you created a great segue there with the alien blaster. Weapon of choice. What's your Fallout 4 weapon of choice?
I mostly ended up using a laser rifle with I forget which mod it is that makes people light on fire.
Oh, you did a laser musket or laser rifle? Okay.
Rifle. That was probably my go-to, but I also, for a good chunk of the game, I was using just a double-barrel shotgun. I would just run up to people, go into vats, blow their faces off, run up to the next guy, blow his face off at very close range. That was very effective. And I also had a few guns that I would just kind of switch between, not necessarily because the situation suited it best, but because I would run out of ammo for one of them.
Always.
And then I'd switch to the other one and build up ammo for the other.
Yeah.
Right. And it was a, what was it? Not an assault rifle. It was the other gun.
Hunting rifle?
No, it's like a kind of a heavy gun, but not the assault rifle.
There's a lot of them. I'm not sure which one.
I forget what it's called.
That's okay.
Like a combat rifle, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so I had that. It's a semi-automatic, not an automatic.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing a bunch of damage with that.
But you stuck to the laser rifle with the setting people on fire mod most of the time.
Yeah, that was pretty effective. Setting people on fire is a good way to go.
Other than real life, it's good advice. Alana, what about you?
Yeah, I think if the game stats were to tell me what my favorite weapon was and the one that I've used the most, it would be a shotgun as well. But I think Fallout 4 has really good melee weapons. Like, I don't remember the name of it, but the fist...
Which one? Are you talking about the boxing glove with the spikes on it, or are you talking about
the gold fist thing?
What is that?
I feel like it's longer than that. The name of it. It has
It
like
might be modded or something.
Not sure, but the power fist is great. There's a cool sword that I found during a quest one time. So I feel like there's a lot of really cool melee weapons. But yeah, I tend to stick to shotguns pretty much all the time. And same as Dan, I'll swap between stuff because I've run out of ammo, but also range. I swap between stuff for range a lot. So.
What are these melee weapons you speak of?
Right?
Am I saying that weird?
No, not at all. It's just it's something about the way I've played Fallout ever since, again, the first game. I just, like, in a world with bullets, why would I stab anything?
Yeah, melee skills feel inferior.
Punching stuff is fun.
Yes, it is fun. That's true. Now I'm afraid of you.
I rarely use them. But I think there's more of them in Fallout 4 than in the other games, and the ones that I have found have been very cool. But I don't use them very often.
Sean, who's usually on the show, he's a melee weapon guy. Yeah. So his builds are all like that.
Melee weapons just aren't that interesting in VATS because you can't select individual body parts.
Yeah.
So it's
if you could do it like Metal Gear Revengeance. You can, like, slice people up into tiny bits. We could do that in VATS. I'd totally do it.
Now, what about you, Miranda?
So, like, melee's good early on because we just, like, ran with the machete with power armor and just sliced up raiders. I mean, it's good. But I've been partial to the laser rifle because you get so much laser ammo from the main story.
Yeah.
So
people just drop stuff
ours
everywhere.
almost does 200 damage now. So
oh, wow.
Yeah, we have that, a shotgun, and a sniper rifle, all of which are named. We have.
What are your weapons named?
We have Bubble Gun Crisis, which is the shotgun. Pepe Le Pew Pew, which is the laser rifle, and then Wesley is the sniper.
Nice.
Who is responsible for these atrocities?
It's between me and Brian.
Okay.
So
that's amazing.
Really, really funny.
Yeah.
I just called my shotgun Old Shooty. And then I got the combat rifle and named it New Shooty.
I can't decide whether Bubble Gun Crisis or Pepe Le Pew Pew is better.
I definitely like Pepe Le Pew Pew. My vote goes to that one.
Yeah, well, okay.
That's a keeper.
Those are pretty good. Guys, if you're listening or watching, please send us your favorite weapon names from Fallout, the ones you've created.
It's cool. Like, you'll find like the legendary weapons that are named, but then I'm like, why don't we just name ours something cool? Like,
make my weapon legendary.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna be sad when I have to break it down. I'm always sad when that happens. It's like,
anything that you name, you automatically can get attached to.
Thankfully, these ones we haven't cycled through yet. Like these are the first ones we named, and we've kept them forever.
Yeah.
So,
It's interesting that both of you went with laser rifles.
Rifles are just so good, especially with that perk that does extra damage for rifles, and then there's another perk under luck that gives you more just general damage. So I'm just like, so good.
All the
so
damage.
strong.
I did a perception and agility build early on, and so I was doing a lot of headshots and VATs, and I wanted a gun with a decent rate of fire that could handle headshots and had plentiful ammo. When I found the Deliverer,
the Deliverer
the
is
legendary
great.
Deliverer,
I don't know what that is.
It's a silenced
Sweet
pistol.
pistol.
Yeah, it's a 10 millimeter. And its base damage code's
And
only
it's
40
one of the
something.
ones you
I think.
find, like, you have to save up for ages to buy the big boy.
Yeah.
But the Deliverer is just amazing, and you can just stumble across it, basically.
Yeah, you run into it and you're like, whoa, what's this? And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this
That's
is great. Ammunition's plentiful. The damage per shot is moderate, but it's got a great rate of fire.
Yeah, and I mean, every 10 millimeter ammo you can use for it.
Yeah,
Like everything, so it's not specific to that weapon.
It's fantastic,
Yeah, it is really good.
especially for, again, you just stack up those headshots with a level 9 perception and the right perks, and it's
Yeah.
murderous. Really enjoyed it. So moving on here, the Great Underwear Exploit. You guys heard about this yet?
No.
Okay, so this is something that broke recently for Fallout. We're going to tell you a little bit about this. Is just a little trick here. First, this started with somebody saying, "Hey, I've been digging Vault, and here's a tip." This is from Bill Zoecker, by the way, or Zoecker.
He's a friend of mine.
Oh,
hey,
is
Bill.
he? Hey, Bill's friend of yours?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is it Zoecker or Zoecker?
I actually don't know. Never said his last
friend.
name before.
Fallout 2
I just got here.
Fallout 2 meant nothing to you. All right, let's see. Been digging Vault. Here's a tip. You can wear super mutant chains under your base clothing layer. It's 10 pounds, but 8 total resistance.
Interesting.
Well, that ties into a larger discovery that the good folks on the internet have made. You've got your Under Armour layer, right? If you're not wearing one of the clothing outfits, then you can put instead you can put your kind of your underwear layer on, and then you've got the strap-on pieces on top of that. Well, somebody's figured out that a few of the hats and some of the underlayer clothes can receive a special kind of mod. And you get this mod by going down some of the railroad quests. You have to do a couple of quests for Pam, and then you go find one of the railroad guys, and you talk to him, and he tells you about ballistic weave. Now, what the game does not make clear is that once he tells you that, you gain a new modding ability. He just mentions it.
Wow.
But if you go back to your armor bench with the right kind of clothing or the right kind of hat after that, you can now graft ballistic weave into it. And this is for the Under Armour stuff, which means you can also layer on top of it. But even more wonderfully broken is if you go to Good Neighbor. You know the robot that sells stuff in Good Neighbor?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. If you go to him, you can buy a bunch of ballistic weave material in lots of 25. And then you can go back and take a couple other fairly common, easy to get elements, mix them all together, and if you have armor of 4, you put this whole melange together and you create 110 defense, physical, and energy underlayer.
Wow.
Which you can then, if you have exactly the right kind of hat, there's a few kinds, you stack that into the hat and you build 220.
Oh my god.
Underlayer defense and physical and energy defense, and you can stack overlayers on top of that. So,
Wow.
So you're basically invulnerable.
yeah, so if you really want to be armored, then you go and you do a couple of the PAM quests for the railroad. You meet the guy, I think his name's Tom, talk to him, wait till he mentions ballistic weave, then go get the right kind of garments, get the right kind of stuff from the robot, get the armor of 4 skill, go to your bench, build the stuff, put it on, and you are bulletproof. We have a complete guide to how to do this we're putting together right now. So you can look for that on IGN wikis.
So this is the kind of thing that you only really find out when you have 10 million people playing this game. It is basically a million monkeys
Basically an Easter egg.
on a million typewriters
Exactly,
writing
yeah.
a novel.
Wow.
The old school Fallouts, like you would never find something like that, or that would take years because like there was a much smaller player pool.
Yeah.
So it's like still a bunch of people playing it at once, and not everyone
just takes
trying
a lot longer
to
to find.
elaborate on it. But
I'm surprised that
yeah.
took so long, actually.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And the thing is, this one's not like an exploit or anything. I mean, the hats might be, because only a few of the hats work right. Only a few hats in the whole game can do it. The Newsboy cap's one of them. There's a few others.
So do we think this is a bug or something that's intentional but hidden?
Well, I think it's more intentional, but I don't think they meant you to. Maybe they meant you to stack caps and underlayers. My guess is they just forgot to change it.
Yeah.
But I think they wanted you to be able to build awesome Under Armour. It's very because it's the mod, the new mod ability is very clear when you get it. It's called Weave, and if you'll know that you can use an outfit that has this because once you talk to the guy, you'll see whether or not Weave is moddable. It doesn't work with things like Vault jumpsuits, but it works with a lot of cotton clothing.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, some of the dresses, some of the outfits.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, anytime when you've got something like a game this complex with this many systems interacting and this many items, each with its own individual stats, like you're gonna find things that the developers just overlooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I say okay.
Yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, it's kind of an unintentional Easter egg.
Yeah. And you do have to go to a fair bit of trouble to pull it off. I mean, that's a lot of stuff you got to do.
Right. So as long as it's not something that's like super common that people are going to do and accidentally kind of break their game and make it not fun anymore because they're super powerful. If it's something
like with Destiny, the farming, that's the first thing I think of with that.
Yeah, I watched Destiny do some of that. I was like, that looks so boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, not my thing either.
Yeah. So as long as it's something that you kind of have to deliberately go out of your way to do or have to have been like really working to try to accomplish.
Yeah.
And then the basically invulnerability is your reward for it.
Yeah.
Then like I'm all for this kind of thing.
And it's also kind of unintentionally a way of rewarding people who are very involved in the community because a casual player is probably never going to just come across that. It's only people who've invested a lot of time and then shared it with other people, and I feel like that's a cool thing too.
And if you're playing on PC and really want to be invulnerable, just like it's a really easy mod.
Yeah.
Or a console command, just go into God mode.
Yeah, it's easy.
So shameless plug, guys. Go to IGN Wikis and check out how to do this. We'd appreciate
actually
it.
check it out.
Yeah, do check it out, please.
Actually do. It's super fun.
Do check it out.
No, it's really good. They're doing a fantastic job.
So moving on from that, a few pieces of listener mail. Question for the Fallout podcast. When would you recommend making the trek over to Diamond City? Level 7 was a bad decision for me. That's from Jose Alvarez.
I think as long as you avoid like big conflicts in the bigger cities between it, then you're fine. If you're a lower level, I mean, you just gotta be sneaky.
Actually, the first time I went south, I ran into a bunch of ghouls in the mist and was ripped apart.
Oh, man, you messed
a bunch
up.
of named ghouls. Yeah, but they just came running out of the mist. I was just like, dum-de-dum-de-dum, it's
Named
quiet.
ghouls, huh?
Yeah, named ghouls. They all had names. They were all female. They were all wearing dresses, and they all ran out of the mist
amazing.
and ripped me apart.
Wow, that's really cool.
That was my first trip south.
That's got to be a random encounter.
Yeah, I was just like, what? I hadn't run into any ghouls yet, so it's just like, dude, I'm going south. It's kind of dark
it's
and
so
misty,
scary.
and just like you're like, and
My
just came
first
running
ghouls
out.
were not that exciting. They were just naked and nameless and angry.
Oh, that's no fun. No, these guys all had names.
Wow.
What about what do you guys say then? I mean,
I honestly have no idea what level I was when I got down there. I would just kind of progress naturally.
I think I was like level 12 or something.
Yeah, I feel like I might have been
there.
15.
I think 12 to 15. Yeah, I think old enough to see a PG-13 movie without asking your parents is probably a good
Diamond City level.
Diamond City level. You can go down there sooner. You really can, but you should avoid conflict at all costs.
Yeah, just be very careful.
Yeah, around the area.
Yeah, and there's enough to do in the northwest quadrant.
Yeah, for a really long time.
That you really
Yeah.
don't need to go down there for a while.
Yeah.
So that's our advice. Thank you so much for writing in, Jose. Adam Ryan Daniels wants to know, this week, I'd love to hear your favorite companions, the most interesting quests you've encountered. Thanks. We did that, Adam Ryan. I hope you enjoyed that section.
already
Thank you
did
for
it for
writing.
you.
That was supposed to go in the notes for that section. Oops. Hey, Eric Oz wants to know, hey, are you guys planning on doing a spoiler cast of Vault IGN Fallout 4? I finished it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Yes, we will do a spoiler cast. Not yet. We'll let you know when it's coming.
So is that one that doesn't have any spoiler-free?
Spoiler cast
No,
is we've
it's
all
all
finished the
spoilers.
game and we just talked for a
Cool.
real long time about the whole thing.
Yep.
We'll get there. Yeah, we're going to gradually ease up on some of the spoilers as we get farther in, but in the end, we're going to do a full spoiler cast, yes. Niall or Niall? Neil?
Niall.
Niall? Niall?
Niall.
Niall? Okay. Niall, Doheny, wonder, he got me thinking, has Fallout 4... this is the end of his message. He wanted to know about, as he's wandering around, if just the way he encounters the world makes us play a different way.
Yes. As I've gotten stronger, I've been a lot more sassy with characters. I'm
Really?
just like, I'm better than you. So, like, they're like, the Raiders be like, I'm going to find you and stuff. I'm like, no, I'm
No,
going to
you
find
won't.
you.
This is Felicia.
Yeah,
Felicia's getting sassy.
Felicia's getting sassy. She's an angry mama. She's got her laser rifle, does like one shots to most raiders.
So have you ever gotten smacked down for this?
No.
No. Felicia comes out on top every time.
Yeah.
That's why she's cocky.
All right.
Yeah, she's got it now.
So sorry, what was the exact question?
What he
Yeah.
was asking was, this is the very end of the question. He was saying is, as I traveled around, I'd encountered the world would just kind of overwhelm me. Like it'd be like, wow, this train station or this encounter or this realistic thing. It'd make me go, he just started interacting with the world differently because of the setting.
That's
you
really
look at it and
interesting.
get kind of drawn into the story.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, the context makes a big difference. It's like walking by a subway entrance is different from walking by just a cave. Like I go in there with different expectations, and I find different surprises that things like twists on things that you expect to find in there. And Hooper's Comics is probably one of my most memorable locations in that entire game so far, and like it's. Just the things you find in there are both things you would expect and not expect, based on it's like it's a comic book store / publisher.
I think I know which one that is.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's the context of it adds a lot.
All right, next week maybe we'll talk about Hooper next week. We'll warn people if we're going to. But, wait, no, you're not going to be here next week. We'll wait till you come back. We'll talk about Hooper when you're back. Definitely, you can tell your Hooper
Hubris.
story. Who did I say Hubris?
You said Hooper.
Oh, I was on Sesame Street saying Hooper. I'm sorry about Hooper's Comics. All right, guys. Finally, today's total digression. We reached the end of the show, and that means we talk about a topic for a second that has absolutely nothing to do with Fallout. Once again, in honor of the Thanksgiving holiday, ladies and gentlemen, mashed potatoes, creamy or lumpy?
Creamy.
Creamy.
Why garlicky?
Creamy and or not?
Yeah.
And
Creamy and garlicky, like
Yeah.
a creamy, garlicky mashed potato.
Yep.
Creamy, and you have to make a little pool for the gravy, like lots of
that's
gravy.
interesting.
Ooh, like
you
the
make
gravy
it,
mountain?
Yeah, you make it, just shape it just a little bit. Like, it doesn't have to be fancy. Just shape it just enough, and then you pour it in there, and you pour some on your turkey, and you're good.
Do you pretend it's a volcano?
No.
and then you just do a straight shot of gravy.
Just down
gravy
down
on
some like that?
everything.
Yep.
I was hoping
Alana,
you
what
were saying,
about
like,
No, I also
alcohol
say
or
creamy.
but-
And I do like it with
No
garlic,
gravy.
sometimes with a little bit of butter. If you mix butter in, it's good too.
Yep.
butter.
And
You gotta have
can
butter
be-
in there.
Can be nice to mix some peas into your mashed potato. Can be good.
I like them separate. Just don't
Only
touch.
sometimes. Only
Only sometimes, okay.
Occasionally.
Okay.
Yeah. Not all the time.
Garlic, yes. Lumpy with the skins.
Oh,
That's
yes.
the correct.
Oh.
answer.
I'm
I like
also
that.
pro skins.
Yeah,
I
pro
don't
skins.
want them in there.
I like the
Get out.
skins in
I've
there.
never
Don't-
even tried that.
Ah, yeah, they're kind of good. They make this. They just add a neat little texture to it. It's like it's so good, and then
Interesting.
Also, it's easier to make.
It is easier to make.
Sure.
Too. That's
Not
right,
to peel
too,
the
yeah.
potato.
Less time.
Sold.
Right. So there's
It's
our
easier.
total digression. It looks like creamies have the day, but we the lumpies will get our revenge. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Wow, this is the longest episode we've ever had by a long shot. So thank you so much for staying with us this entire time. Thank you, Miranda. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Alana.
Thank you.
Anything
Thank you.
you're up to this week you want to pitch?
Still Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Still Rise of the Tomb Raider.
It's almost done though. I'm so happy. I'm like making the final maps. I'm like, I never have to touch this again. Thank
The
God.
Tomb Raider just won't stop rising.
No, no.
And you like the game, right?
So mostly the way I have to play it, like I said, is like destroyed it. The collectibles don't add a lot of depth to it. They kind of are just annoying and frivolous a lot of times.
Yeah.
And some of the challenge missions are just dumb because they own your coins for the dumb cards. Anyway,
Assassin's Creed.
so I'm working on that. Hopefully some other anime-related features soon because I'm finally winding down with wiki things. I can do that again. So we'll see.
Great. Dan?
Just reviewed Just Cause 3, so read that. Should be getting up the console version of that soon as well.
Cool.
Which is a little depressing because it's that there's nothing sadder than going from a game you're really enjoying to a version of that game that is not as good because of performance problems and man, like you think the loading times in Fallout are bad.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, no.
Even the install time for Just Cause is insane.
yeah, just like starting it up is
Yeah.
that takes about 4 minutes to actually
Wow.
get into that
Oh,
game.
wow.
On
What?
Xbox One, I haven't timed it on PS4 yet, but on Xbox One, almost 4 minutes.
That's crazy.
It's like that. Yeah, it's nuts.
That makes me sad because I've watched a lot of people playing it. They seem to be having a ball, and seeing a downport or something like that hurts a little bit.
And most people in the office have been, up until recently, have been playing on PC
Yeah.
with SSDs. So it's still not super snappy, but it's tolerable.
Yeah.
And one thing about that game is like you need to be fearless. You need to not worry about dying.
Yeah.
And if you're worried about doing a big timeout because you died doing something dumb,
Right. So it gives you a threat.
Yeah, it's like you're
Yeah.
you're playing more conservative, and this game
Yeah.
is not to be played conservatively.
So because it takes so long to install, I've only actually played the sort of at the start of Just Cause 3. You get this playground that you just get to run around in, and there's goats.
in the install thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
and
you
I've
said
been-
there's goats?
It's
There are
goats, which I mostly blew up.
Well, we should say this. We should say this for the Just Cause.
Man, so many great games with goats this year. Metal Gear had goats, and Just Cause with goats. And Alana, what
Yeah.
about you?
I mean, it's hard for me to say because this is my second day.
Okay.
But I was on Podcast Beyond earlier today, which was cool, and now I'm here.
Yeah, we like those guys.
They're nice.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I don't care for him.
Oh, that's what Dan does. Like
Fire all of them. But yeah, I should have my first articles and videos and everything up this week, which is super exciting.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Watch for Alana's first article, which will be going up. See, this goes up on Wednesday. That'll go up on Wednesday, right?
I think probably tomorrow, but we'll see.
Okay, so that
Tomorrow
most
is
likely,
Wednesday, isn't it?
most likely
Yeah.
the same day as this.
Yes.
Is after listening to and or watching this, and we hope you'll do both. Go find the latest thing. And guys, thank you so very much for watching and listening. Please, please, please give us lots of stars on iTunes because it really helps us, and leave a review there. You cannot know what great wonderments that does for our being able to continue making the show. Also, please keep watching, because gotta love them video views. But yeah, really, everybody, thanks for writing in. Thank you so much for the support. I am Petty Comma Jared. Miranda is.
Havoc Rose with a K.
Dan is.
Dan Stapleton.
Alana is.
Charolanazard?
Indeed. And until next
I
time.
wasn't sure what we were doing there.
Oh, that's.
I was like, I am Charolanazard?
It's kind of a.
Is it my Twitter handle?
Yeah, it's your
Okay,
Twitter handle.
nailed
Yes,
it.
I was unclear. So, and thumbs up, ready, and
Oh, yeah. I
everybody,
have to
enjoy your apocalypse.
Oh, oh.
Yeah.